All right, this is real quick what we talked about in class. We first reviewed 2 adding and subtracting problems, and then we talked about what to do for the homework. If you're someone who just needs help with adding the pictures to the exit card, you can fast forward through this part and get to that part of the video. But if you were absent today or want another look at adding and subtracting, I'm going to go over that real quick. So we talked about lining up the decimals. So I'm going to start with 81.5. And we need the decimals lined up, so that means the 3 is going to need to be under the 1. So we have our decimals all taken care of here, and you can put zeros in these empty spaces if needed. And we're just going to add them up. We know that 0 plus 1 is 1, 5 plus 7 is 12, so I'm going to put my 2 and carry the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 3 gives us 5. I'm also going to bring that decimal point just straight down, and 8 plus 0 is 8. We end up with 85.21. Makes reasonable sense because 81.5 we could think of it as 82, and 3.71 we could think of that as 4. 82 plus 4 is 86. Well, 85.21 is pretty darn close to that, so we know we're on the right track. Second problem, we know that 35, we can always put a decimal right behind whole numbers and put as many zeros as needed. Well, since this one, the 2.46 has 2 numbers behind the 0, we're going to go ahead and put 2 zeros behind the 35. 2 is going to go right under 5 to keep those decimals all lined up. And we have the 46 right under those zeros. And we're subtracting. I'm going to go ahead and put 0 here too to keep everything lined up. Okay? We cannot take away 6 from 0, nor can we take 4 away from 0. There's nothing to take away. So we're going to have to borrow from the 5 and make it a 4. That makes this 0 a 10, but we really have to borrow again for the other 0, so it's going to become a 9. And then this 0 becomes a 10. So we do 10 minus 6 is 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. Bring the decimals straight down. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus 0 is 3. So we end up with 32.54. Makes sense, because if I think of 35 just as 35 and 2.46 is close to either 2 or 3. Either one really is fine. But 35 minus 2 gives us 33. Well, 32.54 is pretty darn close to that. So that was the review part of adding and subtracting decimals. I'm going to jump to the last slide real quick. So this was all about the homework for today. And if you need a review on how to add the picture in, that would be what you want to listen to now. So the homework is to do the add and subtract decimals exit card and extra math. Don't forget about that. Remember, you can always ask questions, email, whatever. I really encourage you to stay after the lesson if you're able to with questions, but if for some reason you can't, you can always email a teacher for help too. But so what we have to do with this exit card, and actually let me show you that exit card first here. Okay, this is just part of it. Sorry, my cursor is jumping around. Let's try and get to the right slide. There we go. So the Google form is going to have 2 questions. There's going to be an adding question and then a subtracting question. And for each one, you're going to have one that says to upload a picture of your work for the problem below. And then you'll also have to type in the answer for that problem too. But this is where you're going to show your work. So on some kind of paper or dry erase board or something like that, that's what you're going to want to do, and then take a picture of it, which I'll tell you to do in a second. But we're doing that in a Google form. So on your Chromebook, in the bottom left of your home screen, there's this little circle right here. If you click on that, you will see all these different apps that pop up. Now, you might only have one row of apps pop up, so you can push this little, it's kind of like a little arrow that you can use, and it'll drop down all of them. You may not need to do that. You might see the camera already, but if not, then you can do that, and you can see all your apps. You can even search for your apps here too. But you're going to click on the camera, look something like this right here. And when you do that, the camera will pop up, and you can just take a picture of your piece of paper or your dry erase board, wherever the work is. Just hold it up to the camera, click, and you'll see the picture that way. But then some people were having trouble finding where that picture went. So also in your apps, you have something called Files. It's a blue circle with a white file folder on it. It's called Files. When you click on that, you'll see something that looks like this. And when you click Downloads, that is where all your pictures will show up. You'll see them all in here listed. And they might have a weird name, so you can always click on it and rename it if you want. But if you click on that, it'll open up and you can look at the picture. And that will be helpful for you when you go to the Google form. And the question that asks you to add a file, you'll click on that. and it'll give you some options. So when you're doing that, you can click Files from your device. That's where you just were. And so you can look for your photos there. If you have the photo open, you can actually just drag it into this area. Like if you have a split screen situation and you want to just drag your picture over, that works too. If for some reason you know that your files are in your My Drive, your Google Drive, you can always click on that. But I suggest either dragging the picture in here, just having the picture open, or click Select from your files, and you might have to click Download, just like I showed you before, to get there. If you're having any trouble with this, please ask. Please email a teacher and ask, or you can request to do a live meet. I can try and show you that way. I don't have a Chromebook myself, so I can't show you every little thing, but this was some of the screenshots that would help you the best. So I hope that helped. If you have any questions, please ask, but make sure you get your exit card and extra math done.